If you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you'd know that I'm no fan of the Me Too movement and most modern day movements because they're like double-edged swords. You know, even if they mean well on the surface and they've done some good, there's a lot of bad people that want to take advantage of that stuff. So with the Me Too movement, it was obviously good that Harvey Weinstein, or Weinstein, you know, however you pronounce it, and Bill Cosby, monsters like that were taking out good stuff. But then there's other people that saw, hey, I could either, whatever the reasoning were, they want to screw somebody over, they want to get a leg up in the industry, whatever it is, they just wanted some attention, they take advantage of people. And so I've made videos of people getting screwed over because you've had people that were campaigning hashtag believe women, like you believe all women, which is a silly thing to say because if women are equal to men, which that's what, you know, movements like Me Too would say, well, why would you automatically want to believe women when you know that they're bad people? You always want to, I understand about giving people the benefit of the doubt, but you also want to be skeptical, especially when something crazy happens, because you don't want somebody to lose their livelihood or whatever is going on, tarnish their reputation because you jumped the gun. And the Me Too movement is that to a T. So obviously I'm talking about this because it was recently unearthed that Amber Heard is definitely guilty of abusing Johnny Depp, contrary to what the mainstream belief was. And you know what's crazy? I didn't know much about this case at all, or this situation. I heard that, you know, Johnny Depp had been canceled. There was a Me Too thing going on, and then he lost his job with Pirates. I was hearing something about that, and I was like, dang, that sounds crazy. And I didn't look into it. I didn't know all the players and everything that was involved. And it's funny because hearing the audio that was leaked of Amber Heard abusing Johnny Depp, it's funny that this is kind of like even considered to be smoking guns, because just me looking into all the stuff that was surrounding everything that happened, there was plenty of evidence that she was an abuser. Plenty. Just me searching on YouTube alone, there was people making videos back in 2018 and just throughout the years just saying, is Johnny Depp really the victim? Did Johnny Depp get actually Me Too'd? Or this or that? Like a lot of different things just kind of saying, was Amber the abuser? And when you look at all the evidence and everything, definitely it's pretty obvious. And so I'm gonna kind of set up a timeline and kind of show you guys to how we got into this point where there's now some audio leaks and some definitive proof, well, I guess more definitive proof, that Amber Heard is the one that abused Johnny Depp. So Amber Heard and Johnny Depp got married in 2015, and obviously it wasn't a great marriage because 15 months later, there was a restraining order filed. You know, Amber Heard filed the restraining order against Johnny Depp, and then there was the whole divorce filing. So it was kind of like there's definitely trouble in paradise, and there was absolutely trouble in paradise coming from Amber Heard's camp because her lawyers were claiming that, yeah, Johnny Depp abused her. The documents filed on Friday by lawyers representing Heard state that Depp violently attacked Heard on Saturday night in their penthouse apartment. Heard said that Depp continued screaming at me, pulling my hair, striking me, and violently grabbing my face. Well, shit, that sounds like a good time to me. I'm just kidding, stop and relax. So around that time, Pandora's box was opened when Amber Heard put all those claims out, like, hey, he was abusing me. Just the whole domestic abuse allegations. Obviously, Johnny Depp was getting a bad rap. Everyone's like, what a terrible human being. And this, keep in mind, this was in 2016 when all this stuff was floating around. This was before the Me Too movement thing exploded. Obviously, wokeness and all that stuff was starting to spring up. Everyone was starting to lose their minds. But it wasn't until a little bit after. So there was a lot of people that were coming out and defending Johnny Depp. They're like, oh, hold on a second. This doesn't sound right at all. Johnny Depp's ex, Vanessa Paradis, defends actor from outrageous domestic abuse allegations. In all these years I have known Johnny Depp, he has never been physically abusive with me, and this looks nothing like the man I lived with for 14 wonderful years. Now this must have been a head scratcher for the people that advocate stuff like believe all women, because you have a woman, Vanessa Paradis, saying, hey, I lived with Johnny Depp for 14 years and he's never laid a hand on me. This sounds completely out of character. Obviously, he didn't know Amber Heard that long. Although you just think all out of nowhere, all of a sudden, like he just became abusive. Like, come on, man. We got to think about like Occam's razor. Which one sounds more likely? I think you know that somebody who spent 14 years with them, she would probably be like, oh yeah, there was that one time, there was a couple of times when something happened, but like 14 years and he never abused her. come on. Amber and Johnny Depp's security guards defend Johnny. Now, I've read so many articles with everything, and I forgot to pinpoint this one because I just wanted to read exactly what was said. But just going off the top of my head, it was something like Amber was screaming and saying help or get off of me. It was something like that. She was saying something, the security guards rushing like immediately to see what was going on, and then it was like nothing was happening. Johnny Depp was like 20 feet away from her in the kitchen. So she was obviously BSing because they rushed in immediately. It's not like Johnny Depp can teleport and all of a sudden he moved 20 feet. 20 feet is a lot. So it was one of those things that where the security guards are like, okay, that's weird. And obviously it seems like Amber was maybe trying to maybe even recording audio herself to make things look bad or whatever that case was. Obviously Johnny Depp was recording things because some stuff that was leaked, and he was trying to protect himself, and he knew that this was something like this was probably gonna happen. And one of the more interesting things that happened is that Doug Stanhope, one of my favorite comedians, came out and defended Johnny Depp. Turns out that they're good friends. I had no idea about any of this at all. And he knew about the domestic violence and abuse that was going on, that Amber Heard was doing to Johnny Depp. And he wrote this article explaining this, and it's pretty messed up. It's almost 4 a.m. and I can't sleep, not even dozing off. Today, a friend of mine was pilloried in the press for domestic violence, coupled with a picture of his wife with a bruise. He was murdered on social media. I watched it happen and I didn't say an effing word, even though I knew it was BS. We had watched it build up like this since before they were married. We watched her manipulate and F with him for years. We didn't say a word. To each other, yes, but never to him. When your friend is in an awful abusive relationship, man or woman, and you risk weighing in that their counterpart is a demon, you know the odds are they will jump right back into the fire and then dump you from their life for being honest. Stanhope continues and says things like, oh, she threatened to blackmail Johnny Depp and say, I'm going to lie about you publicly, about this and that. And remember, this article came out in 2016. So when you think about it in retrospect, it seems extremely plausible. And the messed up thing is, when this came out, Amber Heard was obviously offended. She was angry and vengeful, and she sued Doug Stanhope. But luckily, it was dropped when the whole divorce thing, when all that stuff got settled, that case was thrown out. So luckily, nothing happened to Doug just for telling the truth, because she was saying, oh, this is obviously defamatory, but of course she would say that, you know, like she was already doing all this messed up stuff anyway, might as well take it a step further. Now, after all this bad stuff happened, when the Me Too movement and all this woke culture and everything is just really coming to a head, she becomes like an advocate against domestic violence and domestic abuse and all that stuff. You know, everybody's like looking to her, and then she's like joining like some organizations and all this stuff. And then she writes an op-ed on the Washington Post, and she starts talking about all this stuff. And then she's obviously throwing more shade at Johnny Depp, which just brings his name back into the public space, into the public eye. People are shitting on him even more because it's, you know, the hashtag Believe Women is just really at the forefront. And then unfortunately, Johnny Depp loses his job. 4 days after the op-ed comes out, Johnny Depp is fired from Pirates. Obviously not a coincidence. So because of Johnny Depp feeling the wrath of the Me Too movement and being humiliated and losing a bunch of money because of Amber Heard, he files a counter lawsuit against her for $50 million. Johnny Depp's lawyers just filed a $50 million defamation suit against Amber Heard, arguing her abuse allegations were a part of an elaborate hoax to generate positive publicity for Miss Heard and advance her career. Since the op-ed was published in December 18, the lawsuit also suggests that it was done to help promote her film Aquaman. Dozens of videos were submitted to support Johnny Depp's claims, and so with all of that stuff that I just mentioned, and there is so much left out. I just touched on some key important points. With all that stuff mentioned, I think it's pretty obvious to see that, oh, Amber Heard's the one that's in the wrong. She was the one that was abusive. There's people, testimony, friends, security guards, video evidence, footage that was submitted, dozens of, so you're like, okay, so now that brings us to present day, where just a few days ago, or maybe just 2 days ago, maybe even just a day ago, there was audio leaked of them arguing and clearly showing that she's the abusive one and even admitting to it, and it's pretty crazy. So I think we should just go through a little bit of it, because there's like probably like 40 minutes that was captured, but we'll just go through a little bit of it.
After you fucking got physically violent with me, I texted Travis. I said, come up here, because I didn't want anything to happen.
I mean, yeah.
He's coming to what? Save me?
No, go ahead. Continue. You Travis to the rescue.
No, that was the last one. You can go. You go. I watched you lie.
You called me a liar.
I watched you lie. I heard it. I was right there.
There's no what. You still haven't told me what lie it is. But yet every single fucking time. You know you do this every single fucking time.
We'll talk to Travis.
I'm not fucking talking to nobody.
No,
fuck that. You go fucking jerk him off. I don't care. I really could care less. It's you every single time. You latch onto some sort of thing. When I already told you, I don't know what you're fucking talking about. You don't even know what you're talking about. You still haven't even told me what it is. But run with it.
I have told you what it is.
No, you haven't.
I said to Travis, I said to you, hey, tell Travis what just happened.
You told me to do it. You told me to. You said, go do that.
I said, no, tell him what just happened.
And I lied.
And that you punched me in the fucking thing. And you
figured
in
it
the face. And you said, no, I didn't. What the fuck are you talking about? And I watched you lie. And then I
didn't punch you, by the way. I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
You've been a lot of fights, been around a long time. I know. Yeah,
no, when you fucking have a closed fist.
You didn't get punched. You got hit. I'm sorry I hit you like this, but I did not punch you. I did not fucking deck you. I fucking was hitting you.
You can't.
I don't know what the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are your toes?
What am I supposed to do? Do this?
How are your toes?
I'm not sitting here bitching about it, am I? You are.
Oh,
that's the difference between me and you. You're a fucking baby.
Because you start physical fights?
You're such a baby!
Because
Grow the fuck up,
Because you start physical fights?
I did start a physical fight.
Yeah, you did.
Are you guys hearing that? Are you hearing that right there? I didn't punch you. You didn't get decked. I was hitting you. You want I know it's not funny. It's just funny because of how absurd it is. It's like, imagine you're in a court of law. Oh, Your Honor, I wasn't punching him. I was just hitting him. There's a major difference, Your Honor. And Your Honor's like, dismissed. And then there's the other side of it. Imagine being a dude, bro, just being a guy and saying that shit. Imagine if Johnny Depp was saying that and is like, oh, I didn't punch you. I was just hitting you, you know? And dude would be buried forever. Forever. 100%. We all know about the double standard. We all know that there's people that do fake pranks and stuff that will be like, all right, so we're going to have a woman screaming at a man in public and everyone's gonna think it's funny and pull out their cell phones and be like, oh, I wonder what he did. Oh, it's crazy. And she starts slapping him and hitting him and she's like, whoa, he's really in the doghouse now. And then you reverse the roles. All of a sudden he's just yelling at her. And then one push, swarm of people like, get this sick piece of shit. What a terrible person. We know the perception. We know how this works. And then this is exactly what's happening. We're to the point where Amber Heard, is she gonna get canceled? Probably not.
I need to know what we need to do different. I need to know.
It's got to be done with your mind and your heart.
What do we do different if I have a problem? You need to tell me how to tell you different if I'm hurting you. You need to let me be able to be mad. Sometimes you're gonna make me mad. I'm a human. I cannot live where it's like.
Well, then it's the same thing goes for me. Then you're gonna have to allow me to get mad.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, but I get mad and then you start fucking yelling.
I don't have to start yelling. I think I start yelling once it gets fucking heightened. I've gotten a lot better about that. It's just I only start yelling when it's fucking hour 11 and we're really in it.
Yeah, you haven't gotten better about that. Otherwise we wouldn't have had 3 physical fights in the last month and a half, 2 months.
Sorry.
3 physical fights in the last month and a half or 2 months, as he says. That's a lot. I'll say it's a lot as somebody that's never been in a physical fight with a significant other. That's not me. It's not about like, oh, she's just a woman or something like that, because guarantee you, if I was dating like a mixed martial artist that was a badass and she starts throwing blows, I'm probably gonna have to defend myself accordingly so she doesn't destroy me. You know what I'm talking about? Like, imagine dating like Holly Holmes or something like that. It wouldn't, and it came to blows, you'd probably defend yourself properly. But it usually comes down to, can I easily destroy this person or not? So I'm talking about guy or girl. I don't want to beat somebody up that I know I can easily destroy. So, you know, girls that I've dated, obviously they're just, you know, normal girls and stuff. Obviously, I'm stronger. I work out and stuff. You know, I'm not saying like I'm the strongest person, but I definitely have some strength and a huge strength advantage. And so I never feel the need to get physical. And then I know a lot of girls, because of that reason, because the guys are typically stronger, they feel like they have the, you know, they can't strike them and know that the guy's not gonna go fight back or anything. It's a shitty philosophy. I don't like it. You know, I definitely think that people, like, and a lot of women, because of the whole chivalrous thing, that they get lucky that they don't get struck when they hit people and stuff like that, when they hit guys, when things typically happen like that. But my whole point is that there's clearly a problem that, well, she doesn't really see it as a problem. She wants to be angry. She wants to lash out and do stuff like that. And Johnny isn't that person. And ultimately, that's why things didn't work out. So that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. As far as the lawsuit and stuff that's going on, still up in the air. I know Amber tried to have it dismissed. I don't know what's going to happen exactly. And I'm hoping that public opinion kind of changes and that there is a little justice for Johnny Depp, because with everything compiled, it really does seem like, all right, 100% Amber Heard is BSing. Johnny Depp was being abused. There were some other things that I was told that happened to Johnny as well. I just didn't need to get into it because I think there's enough evidence compiled just from these articles and just people that know him and people that were in the room, eyewitness testimony, and just shows you that, man, dude definitely got a bad rap. And Amber Heard, knowing how the current climate is, she can definitely benefit from destroying this man that obviously she probably felt hurt because he didn't want to be with her and all, and just so on and so forth. But that's it. Take care, guys.